All right, CR, favorite Christmas movie? Is this it?
Well, when I'm talking to you, I just never know what we define as a Christmas movie, but this is very high up there.
That's why I start with a dig. It's the holidays.
It's Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, that's not a Christmas
There
movie.
we go.
Just
Dan,
stop.
that's
It's ridiculous.
Get it rolling.
That's ridiculous.
Lubricate the pot.
Do you think it's a Christmas movie, Die Hard?
No.
Sean?
Yeah, of course it is. We did this.
Stalemate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
So what's your actual Christmas movie favorite?
Home Alone is my favorite Christmas movie, and I'm staring you right in the eyes. Just keep
That's
it moving.
fine.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore, at least,
Oh,
for
for
Christmas
sure.
vacation?
Yeah,
All
this, Die Hard, Home Alone, and Four Christmases.
What do you got, Sean?
I mean, I have to say it's A Wonderful Life, right? That's
Fair.
that's my cliche, movie from the 40s answer. I do love this movie. I grew up on Home Alone.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old when Home Alone came out, so you can imagine the impact it had on me. I was like, I am Kevin McAllister.
Yeah.
So that's a huge one for me.
And those come back to back with the same writer.
Yeah.
What do you have, Van?
This is my favorite Christmas movie. I'm actually going to ask a question about It's a Wonderful Life in this podcast, which just dawned on me a couple of days. This is my favorite Christmas movie. There's really nothing that's a close second. My favorite bad Christmas movie. Do you guys remember Surviving Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's a
I
good
don't
one.
know why.
I think that's a good one.
It's
agree
not
with
bad.
Yeah.
I
So
like it.
that's one that I watch all the time. But this is my favorite one.
I think I like all Christmas movies to some degree. I even watched the Heather Graham Christmas movie. I think it was on Netflix with my wife.
What was it that appealed to you about that one?
Jason. Well, it's good to check in with Heather.
Yeah.
You know, we
It
have a
always
long
is.
history together.
Have you seen
Jason Biggs?
12 Dates of Christmas with Amy Smart and Mark Paul Gosselaar?
I haven't, but it's on my agenda right now.
Check it out.
How is it?
It's you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad.
All the holiday movies, first of all, it makes you feel like, oh, it's officially like the first thing that happens with Christmas and the holidays is when you're watching football and they drop the first holiday commercial, which it's earlier every year. I think this year was like first week in November. They were just banging them out. But then you start seeing the ads for like the Hallmark movies and the Lifetime movies. And then at some point on the streamers now, you see they'll start popping them on. You see Elf. Elf is up there for me.
Me too.
But Christmas Vacation is my favorite. And I think it's always been like immediately saw it in the theater. It was the last kind of part of the Chevy Chase run that he had in the 80s, which we'll talk about. But this was immediately good. It was immediately satisfying. Cousin Eddie showing up, pushed it over the top. And then for 35 years now, 34 years, it's just been super reliable. It's also crisp, Van. It's like, what, 96 minutes?
Yeah.
It's over, and you're like, man, I could have used 3 more scenes. They just raced through it.
Doesn't waste any breath either. Like
No.
that's what I love about the National Lampoon's movies. It's some sort of joke in every scene. Either he's pushing it forward with his sarcastic brand of observational comedy, or there's physical comedy, or there's some slapstick deal happening right on the screen. So the movie is very brisk, but it feels like you get a lot out of it for that 90.
I agree.
It's kind of a weirdly emotional movie, though.
It is.
I feel like this is the most sincere vacation movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of the most absurd one in some ways, too.
Yeah. I guess it
Absurd
is-
and sincere.
Yeah.
Chris Ryan, The Ringer.
Well, being stuck at the house means that they're not on a quest.
Yeah,
So you don't really know like what we're pushing towards other than just Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So they have to infuse it with like we're feeling and less like episodic, like the first 2 movies are so episodic. They're so like, first we stop here, then we stop here, then we stop here. This is like, does it start on like December 14th?
Yeah.
When they go to get the tree. Yeah.
And something else, the other movies, he's so wacky. He almost at some point becomes unrelatable because he's like this vacation dictator and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's coming from some trauma or something from his childhood. But in this movie, it's very direct because there's a scene where he laments his childhood and where you can tell what he's reaching for.
Mhm.
It's very accessible, like why he's doing all of this.
I told this story on the Vacation Rewatchables, but my dad's brother, Greg, we used to call his family the Griswalds, and they would go out of their way to go on these vacations and stuff. But Clark, I think the 2 things he really believes in is family and family being together, and then the holidays, right? Which is totally relatable. And of course, the funniest thing about this movie is like the holidays usually suck and you're stuck with a bunch of people you don't really want to see or talk to. And this movie hits that kind of the best.
Yeah.
When the parents show up, they're fighting outside the front door right away. Then the uncle shows up, and then Cousin Eddie obviously shows up, and then you just get all thrown together, and you just kind of have to make it work.
I don't know.
It becomes survival.
How much time do you spend thinking about like Clark Griswold as a character with continuity? Because I kind of like the idea that he's arrived at Christmas Vacation and maybe life hasn't exactly turned out the way he wanted. You know,
Yeah.
like he's like, I'm still at this job after 17 years. My kids somehow never get any older, you know?
Yeah. My kids are getting younger. My
fucking-
kids are Benjamin Button.
Yeah, these yuppies moved in next door. They've got all this money, you know, like my boss is Ned Beatty in Network and I can't
Yeah.
get this bonus. It's kind of a dark movie sometimes when you watch it that way.
End of the 80s?
Yeah.
It
Kinda
seems like he
sets it
just
up.
wants one thing to go right.
Yes.
Can I just get my fucking Christmas lights
Yeah.
to come on?
Yeah.
Can I just get you guys to just have the family Christmas with me? And it's almost like this weird commentary on the middle management wasteland that so many Americans were living in during that time. People that like were disqualified from the rat race. And
Yeah.
all I want is Christmas to go right, and it still won't go right. My boss won't give me the bonus and all of that shit.
That's the John Hughes wheelhouse.
That's what I was going to say. Is I think that it's easy to forget that the movie is actually kind of a movie of ideas and like real themes about real people because Chevy's in it and doing so much Chevy stuff.
Yeah.
And he's such a zany comic actor. But John Hughes writes sincerely about the way that middle class people live in America. That's his whole thing. So
Planes,
it's like,
Trains did that, same kind of
Beautifully,
themes.
yeah.
I just want to get back to my family. I
Yeah.
just want to get there. Just want to celebrate the holidays.
And the
With
same
people
kind
I
of
don't even
people.
know I really like that much.
this and the Steve Martin character is not so far away from where the Clark Griswold character is in Christmas Vacation too.
Yeah.
Boy, that Planes Train ending is still a nut kick, boy. That's some really, really getting to your look. You're welling up right now.
I
Look
am.
at you.
I'm so near tears.
Have we done Planes?
Yeah,
We did.
we did it. You've COVID brain.
We've talked about this. Was I on that one? I feel like I was on that one.
You might have been.
I feel like I was on that
We're
one.
getting to the phase of the show now where we've forgotten
Yeah.
the movies that we've done.
I was watching
I don't think I was
Terminator.
on Planes.
I think you were.
I don't think I was.
I was watching Terminator 2, and I emailed Chris and Van saying how the first 35 minutes of Terminator 2 might be the best 35 minutes to start a movie ever, and had forgotten that the three of us had done Terminator 2 for Rewatchables.
How have we not done this?
I was like, oh, we did this. in
The
early
four
21.
alarm, like Bill needs to be put in a home, will be like, you checked out Heat? Kind of an underrated 90s crime movie. Let me know.
We could almost do that one multiple times.
Yeah. Chevy, 83, Vacation, Best Defense with Eddie Murphy. 85, Fletch, European Vacation, Spies Like Us. 86, Three Amigos. 88, Funny Farm. 89, Fletch Lives, which I still don't support. And then 89, Christmas Vacation. So he bangs out 9 movies in 7 years. I think all of them did really well. This is kind of the end of the road for
Funny
him, though.
Farm didn't, right?
I love Funny
I
Farm.
like
love it
Funny
too.
Farm
Yeah,
too.
I love it too.
It kind
I
of
think it
ties
did
into the
okay.
research where it's like he wanted George Roy Hill
Yeah.
to direct this. And they were like, well, no.
Another movie where I think it's a little bit misunderstood because it has a zany poster of Chevy Chase looking goofy and they think it's one kind of a movie. But when you watch the movie, it's actually a little more sophisticated than that. A
Yeah.
little more interesting.
Yeah, he's sight gags for how many years in a row here? Even when he goes in the attic, which is one of the best scenes in this movie. And it's like, all right, he's going to step on that piece of wood.
It's like old school
I don't
Buster
even-
Keaton pratfall stuff.
Who does this now?
Physical comedy is not
I think it's
super
gone,
popular.
man.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
I
Like,
feel like Will Ferrell could have gone this way, but then just wanted
I
no
feel
part
like
of
the
it.
Dude Perfect, Jackass, like
Stunts.
era of
Yeah.
stunt stuff kind of obviated the need for our big
Chris's
movie
guys?
stars to do it.
Yeah, all my homies.
I mean, Jackass
I mean,
is
I
great.
love
We
Jackass.
should just do a Jackass rewatchables.
I'll
honestly.
also, it watching somebody like get tased in the nuts
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's different. Like,
I
yeah.
want to love the ballet of Chevy on the ladder, but I actually do like seeing people
Staple.
willingly be shot with riot shotguns.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Just
Like,
get smacked in the face with a giant oversized hand.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
What's the right age to show your son all of the Jackass movies?
I have to
Just
tell
out of
you, Bill, that
curiosity.
38.
I have a feeling that if Ben hasn't already seen it, like he's seen something equivalent to it on TikTok or YouTube.
Yeah.
I was going to say the answer is 5 years old.
Yeah,
because that's
right.
when we started watching them. That's when we banged out all the Jackass movies. So once again, I'm not a great father. Written by John Hughes during this incredible John Hughes stretch that we've covered over and over again. This is a 10-year run culminating in Home Alone, which becomes one of the most successful movies of all time. Directed by Jeremiah Chechik.
Jeremiah Chechik, yeah.
Jeremiah Chechik. Any thoughts on his IMDb?
We were
Sean?
just, I was
Yeah,
just,
we were preparing for this.
Yeah.
A curious career.
Yeah.
Never made a movie like this again.
No.
He shortly thereafter made the remake of Clouseau's Diabolique with Sharon Stone and Isabella Gianni.
A fave.
That didn't work. I think Chaz Palminteri
I
was the
liked
male
it.
lead. Yeah, certainly you did.
I support all the shared Stone
Bill
franchise.
Simmons.
Right.
I mean, was watching Basic Instinct 2 the other night.
Yeah,
I feel like I just have to support the franchise.
He made Benny and June,
Yep.
the Johnny Depp movie.
Which was
and-
a beloved movie by the white girls in high school.
Is that true?
Mm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think you might have known more about white girls than I did in high school.
Probably so.
It's tough.
Yeah. Life could have went a different way, Sean.
Well, I'm married to one now, so it's
There
okay. It
you
worked
go.
out. And Bronx is Burning, the ESPN miniseries he
Yeah.
directed.
With Turturro.
Oh,
and-
wow.
And Oliver Platt.
God, they were making that as it was airing.
We were wondering if you had any thoughts on that one.
I just remember that was right when I was getting involved in ESPN content, and they ordered like 8 episodes of it, and the schedule was kind of condensed, and they were like finishing stuff as they were filming.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty hairy.
Wouldn't say he has a auteur point of view.
This movie's pretty well done, though. It's
Yeah.
pretty
It's
crisp.
solid.
The biggest thing I learned in the research from a movie, I've watched this at least once a year, I think.
Mm.
I don't know how many times total, but every year I watch this around holidays. In the research, they said this movie may have inspired what we see now in LA, and I'm sure in other cities, but especially here, the Christmas lights on the houses, how over the top
Yeah.
it is. I include my house right now.
Mm.
They said nobody really had kind of put the pieces together till this movie. I don't know if I believe that, but I also can't.
Seems unlikely.
Do you
right?
do
In
your
the
own
80s?
light hanging?
Of course not. I can't even freaking brush my teeth. What are you talking about?
So this is very interesting. What's your job then? Are you like the director of lights?
This is my wife's domain. My job is to walk outside the house and say, that looked great.
I would love to see you
How
maybe
do I
like
save the money?
a Mike Greenwell or Ellis Burks jersey on, and you're up in the fucking
With
ladder.
the old Red Sox
Yeah.
hat? No, that's not me. That was my stepdad, though.
Yeah.
My stepdad was kind of there's just certain people who have the Clark Griswold in them that I'm doing this myself. I'm gonna go get there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look the tree.
Our friend Zach is like this.
Yes.
My
My wife is like this. We've considered a Santa, inflatable Santa for the roof kind of thing.
Ooh.
Some people, it's part of work is the part of Christmas, right? Like I
Yeah.
never wanted to work ever. So
Yeah.
like going out Christmas shopping, hassle, lights, hassle, tree, hassle. I would much rather drive through Candy Cane Lane and look at other people's stuff than like
Yeah.
put it up for my
And then
own
go
self.
home to an unlit, somber condo.
Like a somber condo, no Christmas. All I do for Christmas, put the dog in a hat.
So you're Todd and
Bang.
Margot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm definitely Todd and Margot. I connected with them so much. And I even run in a sauna suit. No bullshit. I run around the neighborhood in a sauna suit.
You're a late 80s yuppie.
A little bit. I'm looking a little fluffy. I need to pull a little sweat. I run around the neighborhood in a sauna suit. I'm them way more than I am the Griswolds.
Where do you stand on fake tree people?
anymore? Well, I want to talk about this.
We just had a conversation about this.
So, my dad is a little bit of a Clark Griswold too, puts up the lights all by himself, vacations in the car, all that stuff. And he called me last year and we were FaceTiming and he shows me the tree. Shows me the Christmas tree every year at his house. And I was like, oh, wow, it looks amazing. It looked really good. It looked too good.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a fake tree? And he's like, yes, it is. And I was like, Dad, you raised me to be a real tree man.
Yeah.
I've been buying real trees in my home for the last 15 years. You betrayed me.
Real tree man and real stick man.
And
Those two.
I assure you, he did not train me to be that. But he's made a total change. And now he's like the Bernie Sanders of fake trees. He's like, fake trees are the only way to go. Universal fake trees for everyone.
What's his rationale?
He's like, no needles. Needles are death in the house. And if
Hard
you
to
drop
clean
the
up.
needles, and the cleanup is a fucking hassle. And this was the first year where I got a real tree again this year. And I was like, this is a mistake. I need a fake tree.
So the argument I have for fake trees, which I do not have, I have a Douglas fir or whatever the hell we got this year.
Yeah.
But I want to introduce an idea that Christmas, next day, turn off the tree. Just turn it off. Go through New Year's. You're socially exhausted. Go through the first week of January. Get back to work. That weekend, second Christmas. And you fucking flick the lights back on.
Oh, there you go.
And everybody is back. And then we have second
Just
Christmas
one day.
parties just to get us through the first month of 2024 where everybody's depressed. But don't do dry January. Do dry February. You know, like one more holiday party to get us kicked into the 2024.
Do we do gifts again?
Interesting.
What?
Do we do gifts again?
I don't know. Honestly, it could just be like a holiday party.
Because I'm fucking with this. I'm fucking with second.
Because there's no like real reason to hang out in the first couple months of the
Could
year.
it be Super Bowl weekend where it's like just everything? As you know, one of my goals in life is to make Super Bowl weekend
Into a
much more of a
national
holiday.
holiday.
Yeah, much more of an event, and everybody gets Monday off.
I like that.
Yeah.
Look, maybe we can bring together our two philosophies here.
Do you have anyone in your life that never gets rid of the tree after Christmas?
I've had trees that were clearly rotting,
Decrepit.
Yeah.
and my wife was still like, there's still some. We got a couple more days in here, and it's like that smell is weird. Like that smell is dying sap.
Yeah.
My dad and my stepmom are legendary for waiting too long to get rid of their tree. And there was one time when I went back to visit right around the Celtics playoffs, and the tree was still up.
No,
It was
No way.
April. I'm telling you, it was April.
Is it?
And I was like, the tree said, and my dad's like, yeah, we haven't gotten around to it. I'm like, you're retired.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Is it laziness or the not willing to let go of the season?
It seems like just we'll get to it, and then you never get to it. Same reason my dad still doesn't have Netflix since he got bounced off my account.
The one
just
thing
won't
is-
sign up for it, and then complains about how he
you
doesn't
can
have Netflix.
tell though, like those trees become like basically tinder boxes the longer they live. Like you're just like, this is just a pure accelerant in my.
It's a fire hazard.
Also, I think the tree is like instant happiness, though, man. The tree is so symbolic. Like,
Yeah.
my mother and my grandmother put all kinds of weird stuff on the tree, like African spiritualist stuff and different ankhs and all of that type of shit hanging from the tree. And they leave it up for too long, but it's because it just means a happy time, and people can't let go of this shit, man.
It's a vicious circle. The more you get invested in Christmas, the harder it is to let it go.
Yeah.
That's why Christmas symbolizes life.
No
It's
shit.
I think it
coming.
symbolizes death,
You go get
actually.
the tree.
Oh,
There's
wow. The
presents,
crucifixion,
and then at
as
the
I
end you're
recall.
thrown
Yeah,
out of
right.
Yeah.
Jesus
Let's
Christ.
talk about Jesus.
The
you know?
reason
That's
for
what
the
it's really
season.
about. Yeah.
I didn't want to get into that, but we could.
It's a game changer with kids. Like this is really the first Christmas that I'm having with a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
2 to 9.
It's still there. It's still the wonder, because I'm not around kids anymore.
No,
That's-
it's amazing.
They believe
It's
in
amazing.
Santa Claus, Elf in the.
Yeah.
We had Elf. We were doing parent corners on Elf on the Shelf, me and Sal, for years, because my stupid kids believed the elf was moving every day, and if it didn't, they were in trouble. Like, and then they turned 10, and they're like, "I can't believe I fell for that shit."
Yeah,
It basically becomes the attitude.
We got to bring Sean's daughter a present the other day, and I did vicariously like realize like, oh my God, like this present is like 3/4 the size of this child. And they were like,
Yeah.
like really the wonder
Yeah.
of the season is pretty
it-
amazing.
Christmas and Halloween
it
are like
resets everything.
two of the best reasons to have kids. Another
See?
good reason is when you get older, they take care of you right before you die. But those Christmas and Halloween,
See,
awesome.
I have to have kids, and I'll tell you why. Because like I'm too cerebral about all of this now. Like
Yeah.
I only get Christmas gifts for the nieces and nephews every other year.
Why?
Yeah.
It's just too many of them.
Oh,
These
Yeah.
motherfuckers not gonna break me every
Yeah.
year. I don't
Yeah.
even get shit from them.
You have
Like,
a big family?
yeah,
You do,
I
yeah.
get nothing back from
Well, you got to take care of your crew too for when you do the ringer coup
That's
d'etat.
true. You
Yeah,
gotta
the
get
whole-
Steve's
you
gift.
almost
you gotta
have
get
everybody's
Domi's
gift.
gift.
Yeah.
you
Steve
know?
gives a lot of gifts. I don't get any.
You get Lindbergh a gift?
No, I should.
Is it because he's white?
Wow,
No.
look at that.
Is Lindbergh in the crew? Jesus,
Lindbergh- oh.
Van has numbers.
How about this? How about this?
We had a meeting about
it's
this
gonna be like
later.
Chris is in the crew.
Like,
yeah,
Chris.
me and Lindbergh took literally when we left the screening. Let's tell you how Lindbergh got initiated into the crew. We left the screening in New York, and we took a nighttime stroll through Central Park.
Well, he's a night owl.
Wow.
Ben
Like,
doesn't
we
go to sleep.
We took a
Well, doesn't he
nighttime
work out at like 4 in the
stroll.
morning
Yeah,
or
he's
something?
he's just
Yeah.
yeah.
He's weirdly jacked.
Yeah.
Ben's diesel and doesn't sleep.
The ringer oral history would be like the 12th.
He's
part.
also
It'll
been
just say
deferring
Lindbergh.
his salary since 2011, like Otani.
So, do you believe that this movie inspired the Christmas light boom?
I feel like
I'm willing to believe it, but I don't know if it's
I think
true.
that the run of Die Hard, Home Alone, and this, like maybe I could see a connection between that and like the modern like obsession with adorning. Like you almost want to be a part of those movies.
Christmas movie
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
So I was a little kid before this movie came out, and I vividly remember me and my siblings piling into the car to go drive to the neighborhoods where they really did up the lights. So I have to assume that this didn't, maybe it inspired it even more, But it was happening before
Well,
that.
I mean, I was in college when this movie came out, but when I was a kid, I mean, the Christmas movie boom hadn't happened. So all the Christmas movies were like It's a Wonderful Life and shit that was
Miracle on 34th
made
Street.
before I
Not
was
trying to
way
watch
before
that.
I was born.
Yeah.
And my dad's family would always be like, oh, we got to watch. And I was always like, these movies kind of suck. Where are the movies for me? And then all of a sudden, we just started making them. I mean, you could say this and Home Alone just start and maybe Die Hard if you want.
You know what
say
I
Die
forgot
Hard's
to
a
mention that I
Christmas
love
movie.
is Black Christmas, the slasher movie. That's one of the great Christmas
I kind of
movies.
liked the remake of that too.
There have been two. Which one?
The one
The
with
recent one? There was one like
is
2006.
Imogen Poots in one of them.
That was the one a few years ago.
I like that one.
I like all horror movies.
Where do you guys stand on the battle between This Christmas and Almost Christmas that splits up the African American community?
Oh, explain it to us.
Okay, so This Christmas is a movie with Chris Brown, Lauren London, Idris Elba.
Like Lauren London.
Okay, Almost Christmas is a movie that stars Gabrielle Union, Omar Epps, Danny Glover, Monique. It's a Will Packer production.
That's the one I'm familiar with.
right. That one to me is better. But I like to
Is
start.
the former Malcolm Lee movie?
I can't remember if
So
Malcolm.
is
I
this like
think
a
Malcolm might
LeBron
have did-
versus Michael Jordan type of argument, or is it people don't?
I don't think Malcolm did either one of them, but because there was all kinds of problems on the.
I feel like The Best Man Holiday is the best one of the Black Christmas movies.
Best Man Holiday is fucking
That's
great
tight.
one
That's
right there.
I love Best
That's
Man
kind of
Holiday.
like a cheat code though, because you're taking
you
all
already
the
had the
people,
Best Man,
the best man, and all of that
But
stuff.
Best Man Holiday is good.
It's really good.
What about Tyler Perry comes down the chimney? Is that
Is that also a horror movie?
Wait,
Yeah.
Medea's got a Christmas movie, doesn't she? I don't know. I'm sure Medea's got a Christmas movie. I told you, Tyler's cooking right now, man.
Tyler's cooking.
He's cooking.
Tyler saw the Netflix data and he's like,
Right. Tyler
Like, look
is
at my shit.
running. He's got his own network. All them shows are hidden, man.
What did you think of the Christmas scene in Oppenheimer?
which
Did
episode
you get to that
is
part?
that?
Yeah.
Is that episode 3? Ep 3? I still haven't seen Barbie, Sean. This
Take your
movie, this movie had a $25.5 million budget, made $73.3 million.
Is that, so now you're just doing all box office returns in that voice.
Tripled the budget.
Yeah, it's good.
Roger Ebert, 2 stars.
Damn, Raj.
Raj isn't really ending the year well.
Raj the Grinch.
It's not his fault.
You know what? It's a hard time for film critics. They're really busy.
Yeah, all these top 10 lists.
He said, the movie is curious in how close it comes to delivering on its material. Sequence after sequence seems to contain all the necessary material to be well on the way toward a payoff, and then it somehow doesn't work. Fuck you, Raj.
That's a tough one.
completely disagree.
Okay, let me just ask. Am I alone in thinking this is the third best vacation?
Wrong.
I disagree.
Oh, I have it second.
So you guys don't like Europe.
I think it's the best one, but
European, you think is the best one?
No, not European. I think this one is the best one.
And then National Lampoon.
The
and
National
then
Lampoon, then
European.
I have European.
I love
third.
European, but I think it doesn't compare to the other two as well.
I like European a lot. I think it might be my second.
I
think
actually
Really?
think
Big
Vegas
Ben
is ahead of
Parliament?
European.
Wow.
man, Amy
Nick
Took the
Papa
Heffler.
National
Giorgio?
Lampoon out of Vegas.
They did. It's not National
Vegas,
Lampoon.
they were just like, people love Cousin Eddie. Let's let
We gotta take
him
Cousin
cook.
Eddie to Vegas.
Let's run
Yeah.
some ISOs
Great.
and just have
There's
some.
an elite Ethan Embry performance in Vegas.
I actually like Vegas. I would like Vegas vacation more than Euro.
Also, I'm a gambling guy, you know?
My biggest-
again!
My biggest, Sean likes all Vegas movies. My biggest issue with Euro is how bad Rusty is.
He
Yeah.
sucks.
Rusty just
Yeah,
fucking.
he's bad.
It's Sofia
Yeah.
Coppola, Godfather 3 level bad.
She just caught her
right.
straight for no reason. She
What?
is bad. She is
What?
bad, but
What are you talking about? She was horrible in that
Who,
movie.
know.
who is it?
She
It's
ruined
Jason
Jason
Lively in the
Lively.
first one. Jason Lively.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not a lot of
Do you think
IMDb's
it's just
for
the
him.
right place, right time when you saw a thing? For
I think
you?
it led to a sexual awakening.
I was
for
just
me.
gonna say,
Yeah.
you
That's
cranked it a
the
few
thing for
times.
me.
Yeah,
This
I see. I
movie-
knew we were gonna
Yeah.
get
But,
there.
but
It was one of the
seriously,
first
though,
PG-13 movies.
But it was like it was weird sexual undertones, the breasts, and all of this
Yeah.
stuff. That's
It's
what
a
I remember
horny
about
movie.
the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's horny.
Yeah.
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 But
There's
it's an Amy Heckerling movie. I think it's got a lot of pizzazz. All right.
Not for me.
CR. I thought, can you save it for Byron Mayo later when you get horny?
Wait, Sean, which is I've never. Wait a minute. Have I heard horny CR before?
Yeah, he's in the form of Byron Mayo.
Late-breaking, emerging
new part of the
character.
persona.
Yeah, we'll do it
Rewatchables.
later, and you'll
Yeah.
understand.
I'm into it.
New
Have
part
you
of the
seen
persona.
An Officer and a Gentleman?
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll
You
understand.
know when Robert Loggia reveals his lower torso in the first 10 minutes of the movie?
Right.
Big inspiration for
Yes.
Chris.
Wow.
Yeah.
Byron Mayo is taking over Wayne Jenkins. This 2023 is
Jesus
going on.
Christ.
All right, rewatchable scene. Basically the opening scene. Clark gets tailgated and buys a tree. There's a lot going on here.
You
Clark
ever
driving.
tried the going under the truck move?
It's hard, especially in that car.
Does that mean you have?
No, I've thought about it. Sometimes you drive by a truck, you're like, could I just fly through there?
What the fuck are you talking about?
But you can I can kind of see him in his car.
I get bored on a
listening
long
to
drive.
NBA radio.
Yeah.
You're listening to Justin and Eddie.
Termini and Eddie.
Yeah.
You're thinking about calling in.
Yeah.
You know. This is Bill from
Happened a couple
Hancock
of
Park.
times.
Yeah.
I like what the wife says, Clark, I don't want to spend the holidays dead. She's
yeah.
just dropping off lines left and right. I like Frozen Audrey when they actually get
Yeah,
to the
that's good.
trees. I like when he says, there's 3 of the thimble of the Griswold family because his tongue's frozen. And I'm going to give that the Den of Thieves Benihana Award scene stealing location as well. I like all the trees. I'm good to just see all those.
But like
beautiful
that scene
Christmas
is like what
trees.
I'm talking about, though. Think of all the fun. Think of
Yeah,
all
there's
the
20 funny things
There's
in there.
20 funny things that happen, and even the last scene, they don't let you get off without kicking you in your nuts with a little bit more funny.
Yeah.
Dad, did you bring a saw? And then they've uprooted the fucking tree out of it. It's just hilarious.
It's an unanswerable question there. You know,
That was my. How did they get the goddamn tree?
That's
Frozen. Yeah.
Don't give me a unanswerable question in the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Right. Well, the tree also changes sizes a couple times.
Yeah.
The tree they're getting, there's no way that fits.
Yes.
It's bigger than his entire house,
Yeah.
but that's fine. It's a Christmas comedy movie. The parents show up. The chaos of that scene when one guy says, they took a pint of fluid out of my back. And then the next parent's like, you see this mole? And it's just like classic old people shit.
What age does that happen?
70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you come over here, baby. Come over here and look at this. What my mom got on her thigh? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking want to know. I love you to death. Like, what age do they start doing that?
70s.
You think this is melanoma? What do I look like? I talk about Marvel movies for a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
You look like an oncologist.
Yeah.
You think Biden does that now?
God, Bill.
No,
Hunter?
Biden's old.
Yeah.
Where he's in the White House.
Yeah.
He's like, what is that?
Hunter, come in here.
Yeah, Hunter,
Come in,
take a
chief
look.
of staff.
Yeah.
Come on in here. Clark shows off the Christmas lights. They don't work. And then he thinks they're going to work. And he says, the drum roll, please. And they just never work. Chevy Chase is the funniest. Shit's not going right for me right now. And I'm trying to save it. Actor. Would you put him and Will Ferrell in the finals?
Those are both good ones. I was thinking about
It's a talent that nobody under 40 has anymore.
Steve Martin did this too.
He was good. at it.
he's
You're right.
he's one of
He's
those
in
guys.
Parenthood. He's really good
Yeah.
at that.
Anybody under 40.
Sandler could do it sometimes.
Yeah,
Sandler's a little over the top, though.
Yeah.
yeah. He has rage.
But he could
Yeah.
still, yeah, right. He
Yeah.
did the rage version of it.
Billy Madison and stuff. Anybody under 40 with that, I was
Because
thinking
you have
about
to be a
that.
physical comedian. It has to be part of it.
I like
was
Vince Vaughn doing this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this in recasting. There isn't a Chevy Chase right now, and there hasn't
No.
been for a long time. Like a guy who delivers like that. Like those guys are kind of gone, right?
I think it has to be somebody that he had like crazy sketch comedy background in front of
Yeah.
audiences, right? He was in Groundlings and the Second City, all that stuff. And I think you learn when you're in stage every night, you learn this physical version of comedy that I just don't know if people do anymore.
Yeah,
It's a pretty amazing combination of that, the physical stuff, and then like the constant ad lib seeming smart ass remarks.
Yeah,
A lot of sap in here.
right.
Well,
Plus,
Sap.
he's 6'2" and handsome. That's the thing. That
Yeah.
was the thing. Is he was like, I'm gonna evolve or devolve depending on how you see him. Cary Grant. It's like, how can a guy this handsome be this funny while surrounded by all these people who are shorter than him, less beautiful than him? But you mentioned this. Like, this is the end. This is the last big movie that he started.
It's a 15-year run, which is a long time because the first season of SNL is in 75, and he basically runs that all the way through to 89, which is, and he was late when he got started. I think he was like 31, 32 on SNL. So it's about as long of a run as you're going to have because at some point you got to do the Bill Murray thing and reinvent yourself as a dramatic actor and find Wes Anderson.
Right. He never really did that.
Was
That's kinda what Will
supposed to be
Ferrell's
Invisible
trying to do
Man,
now.
kind of.
Memoirs of Invisible
Yeah.
Man.
And then there
yeah.
was a truly beloved, bizarre movie. Remember Nothing But Trouble?
Yeah, right after this.
Right
Yeah.
after this, like, and then that was kind of, I remember a
But
couple
that
years after
bombed.
that.
I
like that one?
I love that movie.
I love the movie, but it's
so bad,
It's
though.
so
Yeah.
bad and weird and off.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an
Yeah.
odd
There's like
movie.
four actors playing multiple characters. in
Major
that
Dan
movie.
Aykroyd
Yeah.
check in that movie.
And Candy.
Yeah.
When that Candy's good.
This
Yeah.
is a weird time
And
for
Tupac,
comedy, and
yeah.
I think part of it is the
My first
cocaine is
experience
starting to
with it.
wear off. When you get to this, but this is when 48 Hours 2 happens,
Yeah.
which I'm still mad about.
Yeah.
This is the
Do you
thing.
ever want to do an angry rewatchables with the middle of 48 Hours too?
I actually
Or
kind
you
of
do?
like another 48 hours.
Plump Eddie Murphy.
It
I
makes me
kind of
so
like
mad.
it. I'm just saying that the biker gang, I kind of like.
Listen, I'm not saying I haven't watched it 60 times. It just makes me mad. It's like it's an angry watch for me. You have those movies where you're just like, God damn it, why didn't you get
Yes.
this right?
Yeah.
You had all this.
Also, there are new guys coming at this point. Those guys are like, I mean, obviously some other guys.
New comedy guys.
New comedy guys
Yeah.
are coming around at this point, and they're kind of
This
seeding
is-
it.
Yeah, it's volume 1 of the SNL crew is kind of winding down.
Right. We're on the precipice of like Mike Myers and all those guys coming. Yeah, Jim
Yeah.
Carrey or
Dana
right around the
Carvey's
corner.
already
Dana
there.
Carvey,
Dan
yeah,
Harvey,
yeah.
guys like that.
The
you know.
funniest man ever, Phil Hartman, is in the mix.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Phil Hartman was a little Chevy Chase-esque in a way, a little bit more of a performer. Gave you
Did more
different
characters. Yeah.
This is where Machine Gun Kelly kept who he called in prison parlance his bitch.
Everyone here calls me Vicky. Okay, so there's four guys right in this time. It's Steve Martin, it's Bill Murray, it's Chevy, and it's Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real who
But
you
Eddie
got.
Eddie never did physical comedy like this.
Robin
he was always
too.
wise
Maybe
that
Robin.
shit.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah,
But just
Robin
in terms
didn't
of like
really either.
movie stars,
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
movie star, male movie stars in the 80s. Like the 90s, Robin Williams becomes actually a much bigger movie star.
Well, and then Jim
Right.
Carrey takes the physical.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
basically takes the Chevy Chase
Yeah.
torch.
And like Ben Stiller comes along. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people come along who
Adam
get in
Sandler
there.
and
Adam
all those
Sandler,
guys.
you know, and
Vince
Wilson,
Vaughn
yeah.
stuff.
But like those four guys pretty much define the decade for comedy movies.
Yep, for sure.
With
So
Bill Murray.
Is your question which
He
one?
said
is
Bill
your-
Murray.
Who's your guy?
favorite?
I know Eddie is your guy, right? That's your number
That is
one.
my eternal guy.
Are you basing this on the
You don't think
actual
I'm going
movies
to
they
Beverly
made
Hills
or on their
Cop 4?
persona?
Like,
I think
immediately?
both. I think they're all distinct and cool
I think
and
I like Bill
interesting.
Murray's movies more, and I think I like Chevy Chase as like his style of comedy. That God damn it, that's a really tough.
I
call.
think Chevy Chase has a better library, honestly.
Than who?
If you're stuck with 10, if you had to take 10 DVDs to a desert island.
Oh, I take Bill Murray.
Then
You
Bill
wouldn't take
Murray?
Caddyshack?
I would
I'm
take
saying
Bill
from
Murray.
this
Oh, from
15-year
that period,
stretch.
yeah.
Bill Murray is. I
But
mean,
from 75 to 90, I think Chevy has a better library. And then I think Murray catches
what
up to
years?
him.
What about Bob? That's after 90.
After.
90,
Yeah,
91.
90,
yeah.
91.
Yeah. Because Chevy also had Seems Like Old Times and Foul Play.
Mm-hmm.
Plus all the stuff. And
Well, that's what's interesting about it,
80s.
right? Because like Bill Murray was there to fill in for Chevy after he leaves in some ways. He's like filling the gap
Yeah.
on SNL. But then it takes 10 years for Murray to basically succeed him as the male movie star of that time, too.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when you think about it. Number one, I'll say one thing about Seems Like Old Times. That to me was the version of the career that Chevy Chase like could have had, because that's Chevy Chase to me at his best. Chevy Chase,
It's an all-timer for me. I
He's-
can't believe we haven't done it yet.
Which one?
Seems Like Old Times.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got all the things that you're talking about.
He's a leading man.
He's a leading man. He's handsome. He's suave. He's funny. All of that stuff. But I will say, you know, Bill Murray, Ghostbusters is like 1984, right?
It is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's-
That's the biggest fucking movie
Right.
in the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
But Chevy in the 80s, I think Chevy has a more consistent run.
Totally agree.
Agreed.
But in the 90s, then Bill Murray is like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
He's like
Mm.
Kingpin, and he's yeah.
I loved Goldie Hawn. I just want you to know that.
Like, Brett, she is adorable. That's a really, really beautiful. Of all the things that have been remade, I can't believe nobody's tried to fuck that.
Should we
one
do
up.
Goldie Hawn month? Wildcats.
Well,
seems
Sean
like a-
shat on Private Benjamin.
I know.
That's not what I
wasn't
said.
as big as
I
Full Metal
said
Jacket.
no one under
30
35 has seen it.
Yeah.
And
You know,
Craig confirmed.
I looked it up that night after you said that. Private Benjamin was a bigger movie
Where did
that
you
made
look it
more
up?
money than Full Metal Jacket. I just looked at all the
box
numbers.
office.
Then
Yeah, but
It was like
Full
the
Metal-
sixth biggest movie
But when
in
the movie was
1980.
released, no one under 35 was alive.
They made a TV show about it. It was so it became such
Did you
a
just say it's
phenomenon.
bigger than Full Metal Jacket? Obviously, it's bigger than Full Metal Jacket.
No,
Like,
these
Full-
guys
like,
said
Full-
Full Metal Jacket was the biggest.
No, the conversation was about what is the
Was
best
Apex Mountain.
Basic training
Yes,
movie.
and
That
we
was
said
what
We
Full
said
Metal
Apex
Jacket.
Mountain for
Best?
basic
Yeah.
training.
Well, the best is Full Metal Jacket.
Yes.
Like
that
it-
was what we were talking
yeah, the
about.
But Full
best
Metal
is-
Jacket wasn't successful when it came out.
But
Yo,
it's
it's
since
considered
become
really
one of the
unsuccessful
great
to watch.
films of all time, watched by
But
all
that's not
these
the
dorks.
context of Apex Mountain.
You mean the movie?
You're
where-
the one who invented it.
Yeah, and I'm telling you.
This is like fucking playing basketball and finding out traveling is legal, right? Like,
listen, you got to bend your own way. When it came out, it was on Apex Mountain. It eventually became the best.
Okay.
But Private Benjamin was a phenomenon.
Next week.
So Goldie Hawn month.
No, we're definitely not doing Private Benjamin. We will do Full Metal Jacket.
Can we before we stop the feed? Can we do Wildcats?
Oh, with Woody and Wesley?
Yeah, I love that movie.
How many Goldie Hawn movies have been done on the Rewatchables?
None.
0.
We've never had the Goldie Hawn conversation.
Well, Shampoo is one we got to do at some point.
Shampoo?
That's going to have
Shampoo.
Shampoo's amazing.
Overboard.
I was just going to say Overboard.
People love Overboard.
Overboard, man. Overboard's classic.
I love Goldie Hawn.
Most adorable woman in Hollywood history.
Next rewatchable scene.
Forgot we were doing that.
This has been a good one. Yeah. we're veering.
The lights finally go on and off and on and off.
Love it.
And finally go on. There's so many good moments in this. The garage extension cord that has 20 things plugged into it is so good.
Like,
so good.
You just everybody had that one weird part of the house where your dad had plugged in 62 things into one Kmart extension cord.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So dangerous.
And then he'd be like, you have to unplug that to plug that in. We just won't use the TV for an hour.
I love when Clark's emotional when it goes on and he says to his dad, "Thanks, Dad. You taught me everything I know about exterior illumination." Eddie just shows up in the middle of it. It's already a really good scene. And all of a sudden Eddie's there. He's like, "Hey, Eddie." And it's Eddie. And there's this SUV and he goes through his family and they look at the daughter and they're like, "Hey, what happened with Ruby Sue?" It's like, funniest thing, her eyes aren't crossed anymore. And he goes, she falls in a well, eyes get crossed, gets kicked by a mule, and they uncross.
And that's the thing about Eddie. Like, he's so disgusting. The dog has a sinus condition.
Yeah.
These names Snot. Like
Rocky has a lip fungus.
It's a lip. You might not want to do that. Everything is a joke. He's got a lip fungus they haven't identified yet.
Eddie is all time in this. I like when he talks about Snots. Oh, he's got a set of balls on him.
Drink a can of Pennzoil.
I like when they're walking through the supermarket and Eddie is just loading up
I
the
have
car with
Purina.
stuff.
What's the best? It's just like it's such a
all
funny
the dog
bit.
food.
Right.
And he just keeps putting Purina on this.
He's just pointing at things and knowing that he's not paying.
Yeah.
Like he's just pointing at things and he's putting them in there. I love it.
It's all Chevy
I had that
doing
later.
like spit takes, watching him put the dog food into his face the whole time.
Next one I had was Clark and Eddie hanging out in the living room when Clark's wearing that. I mean, Eddie's wearing, it's like a V-neck, but he also has a turtleneck.
Yeah.
And he's telling them about how the dog will hump his leg every once in a while. He goes, "It's best that you let him finish."
Right.
Snots. And then Clark says, "Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat, drive you out to the middle of nowhere, and leave you for dead." The sledding scene is the dumbest scene in the movie.
Non-caloric silicone-based kitchen lubricant sledding.
Yeah. I still like it.
Is that what you were using during European vacation?
Oh my God.
It's best if you just let me finish.
Just let him finish.
Snots.
Oh, Christ.
Eddie admits the metal plate in his head, it was replaced because every time Catherine revved up the microwave, I'd piss my pants. God, it was. They had to replace it with plastic.
So it's not going to look right if he gets in it.
Is Eddie an even better character now that we know that Randy Quaid is a real fruitcake?
So I was going to ask, does Randy Quaid being a lunatic hurt?
Does Randy Quaid becoming Eddie in real life like hurt Eddie?
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't know all the Randy Quaid stuff.
It's like the most predictable thing. It feels like, you know what I mean? That he actually became that. It seems almost meta.
Yeah,
but I love Randy Quaid, man.
Clark and Eddie go shopping. You mentioned this. I like when he goes, "How's the live bait business, Eddie?" That's apparently Eddie's business, live bait. And then he talks about how he lost his money and how if only we had the money we sent the preacher who was screwing the hockey player. It's not even explained. I don't know.
What about his kids? Oh, his kids can fend for themselves.
No, your kids.
No, your kids, Eddie.
Christmas Eve dinner with the overcooked turkey. Is that your Big Kahuna Burger award for best use of food and drink? Or would you go him slurping the eggnog?
We put it in too early.
Oh, there's the heart.
The heart.
And then they're chewing on the goddamn turkey for the rest of the thing.
Yeah, and the cat shit and the jello.
Yeah.
I also like when they're at the table and Clark's saying, I saw Saw a sled last night. Think it was Santa Claus to the kids. And Eddie goes, you serious? And then Clark doesn't get his bonus. That's when he slurps the eggnog, and he has his crazy monologue. And then Clark's kidnapped boss shows up at last. What do you have for your favorite scene, Sean?
I love the meltdown. I love
Clark's
the
bonus.
don't get the bonus meltdown.
Yeah.
That's like the best
Hallelujah, holy
performance
shit,
of
where's the title?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's like Chevy Chase's best.
Do you think
movie
he's ad-libbing some of that, or is it like an actual
the rumor
scripted
is
out?
like so they say that he ad-libbed it, but then there was also a rumor that people on the other side of the shot were holding cue cards that only had like brainless, dickless, hopeless, so that he knew there were words to say, but that it was mostly him. That was
What a performance.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's so good.
Don't piss me off, Art. You know, my favorite line, it's not a rewatchable scene, but it's my favorite line. He comes out, he's got the Jason mask on.
And with the chainsaw.
He's got the chainsaw. And Rocket goes, where are you going to put a tree that big? He's like, bend over and I'll show you. How dare you talk to me like that? Wasn't talking to you.
Incredible.
And then the look that, because we got to talk about Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It's coming.
Yeah. And the look is just fucking hysterical, man.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line of the whole movie.
Underrated part of Clark is that like deep down he's a fucking asshole. You know,
He
like,
is,
as much
bro.
as he's trying to do the super dad thing, like he's a wise ass. He's a fucking dick.
What do you have for most rewatchable scene?
All of those things, bro. Like I literally does. It's the same fucking list.
Okay.
Yeah. or except for one. One of my favorite parts of these movies are like how horny Clark is, and just how him and the model at the perfume counter. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That's first of all. Crazy performance by him in that scene. He's
Just
falling all
continually
over
saying the
himself.
wrong
Yeah.
word.
We're all
Yeah.
words. It's
a little
fucking
bit nipply
fantastic.
outside.
And Russell's
Yeah.
just like, up, there's dad.
There's dad
again,
again.
pointing it up with the
Yeah.
department store
Getting
lady.
Super
freaky. He
funny.
knows his father.
Did Clark get Me Too, do you think, at some point?
By his own kids, yeah.
What's aged the best? Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, right as she's filming Seinfeld Chronicles era,
She's
like
so
same hair,
funny in this.
everything.
She
Yeah,
looks
she's good.
exactly the same now. It's weird. She
Yeah.
like has not aged a day. She's great.
Do we like Todd and Margot?
I think that the making like torturing yuppies is a very good late 80s, early 90s.
What's age the
trope.
best?
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah.
John.
And it's just
Yeah.
like they're yuppies down to the stereo system, to the jogging, to
Yeah.
Todd and Margot.
So they're like no tree.
to their minimalist, we're gonna drink wine before we fuck in the middle, like the whole nine. They're so yuppie, and they
Yeah.
get shit on. The 80s audience is probably
Nothing
love
good
that.
happens for them.
Yeah,
Juliette Lewis, basically auditioning for Cape Fear as Audrey, just throwing darts left and right. This Griswold daughter character was always like the pissy teenager just having that stage in life, and I always thought they nailed it.
I think she's the best one.
Yeah.
Also, like when the lights don't turn on and she gives Clark the like, it's okay, Dad. It's beautiful even without the lights on. I was like,
Mhm.
that's fucking acting right
Yeah.
there. That's Julia Louis.
As a father of daughters.
I was like, one day my daughter will say that to me.
I like Diane Lane as Clark's mom. I thought she does a good job. The Juliette Lewis saying, "Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how twisted that is?" The snoring grandparents are great. Beverly D'Angelo, first ballot White Girl Hall of Famer.
first ballot, and
They
she
threw in a nightgown scene for you in bed.
she looks even better.
She looks incredible in this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they gave her enough to do in
Nah.
this.
I totally agree.
Well, I will say this is they didn't, but she is still the ultimate straight man to what Chevy Chase is doing. But there's a lot more just sparky than
Yeah.
like giving her actual
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Ty Lue moved the minutes around well enough for her.
Yeah.
Like, take George and Kawhi out and just let her run the offense
She should have
for like
turned
7
to
minutes.
Jeremiah Chechik and be like, I'm not Bones Highland, man. You need to run some plays for me.
There should have been her Christmas shopping on her own,
Yeah.
and getting hit
Yeah.
on by some horny sales clerk.
Yeah.
or
That would actually
something.
be really awesome is if they had flipped it and then and Barb had like she had like a guy that she was fantasizing about. That would be pretty funny.
Oh,
That's
it's
what
really
happens in
good.
Vegas Vacation with Wayne Newton. Wayne
Yeah.
Newton
Oh,
like
yeah.
falls in love
Oh,
with
yeah.
her.
Oh, that's right. She was really good. I just think that's how they did movies in the 80s, where the wife was always like the accessory package for the star.
Yeah.
Or Ellen, sorry, not Barb.
The Christmas tree, when he does it, he puts it in, and then the next scene when he's in bed and he rubs her head, his hand sticks to it, and it sticks to the lamp.
The thing's
Just good
sticking in the
stuff.
magazine.
He's cooking in this. Like I had that for What's Age the Best. There's just some good Chevy stuff like that, buying the presents from the hot sales lady, all that stuff. What's Age the Best? Shitter is full became like an all-time Twitter meme, right? It's like a top fiver.
Shitter's full.
Shitter's full. Just man, I feel like that's on my Twitter timeline once a week.
That's what the Chargers owner said to Brandon Staley this morning.
Shitter's full.
Shitter's full.
What else do you have, CR?
The callbacks to the other movies like The White Loafers and Clark screaming, Russ! When he's right there. Otherwise, you mentioned them. I said, just torturing the yuppies is really a funny like thread through the movie.
What do you have, Sean? Anything?
Just this becoming, I think, generationally, the Christmas movie. Like, this is the number one. I don't think that they knew that when they were making the third vacation movie and they had to beg John Hughes to come back to write another one. And then Chris Columbus, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that. You never would have guessed that this movie would be, I mean, it's been how many years now? 35 years? 30 almost. Yeah. And it's aged amazingly. It's like it's on every channel for 2 months every year.
What do you got, Van?
For me, it's finding out your dad is a horny freak. I remember the moment that it happened for me.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
I feel like we've talked about this in a bunch of different
I like it. I like that we keep coming back to it.
It's true.
It continues to
Did
age
this come
well.
up in like Sea of Love? I can't remember.
We got to do Basic Instinct just to bring Van's dad somehow.
Oh, my God. I just remember it like, let's put it to you like this. I'll tell the story. I know this is like a family podcast.
It's really not.
But my dad had gone to college with my 7th grade science teacher.
Oh.
And he sees her and she goes, Terry? And he goes, hey, how you doing?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so then I go get in the truck and they talk. And he comes in, he sits down in the truck. He goes, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, Miss Williams, man. Tell you what, man, 1975, she was something else, boy. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm not going to tell you exactly what he said because, But yeah, so that was the moment I realized, hey, he's fucked other women. He's had sex. He had a lot of sex before Mom.
I had for another What's Age the Best.
Are we not going to go around and talk about the women?
No,
our dads have had sex with?
Okay. Not on that one. What's Age the Best? This is like when they just started making sequels. And it's just like, hey, here's some sequels. And here's another one. And they're making Lethal Weapon 2.
Same year as Fletch
Ghostbusters
Lives.
2.
Yeah.
Back to the Futures 2. Fletch Lives. Another 48 Hours. Star Trek 5. You go through like Karate Kid 3 comes out that year.
They're really cashing out on the decade.
There's another Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a Halloween movie. You just keep going and going. And there's a Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
It's a good movie.
Police Academy 6.
Oh,
and
is
this
that
was
City
the-
Under Siege?
This is the only sequel that actually like really had legs, I feel like. I guess Back to the Future too, but
Back to the Future
almost
2
doesn't
is
count.
phenomenon.
But you know what I mean? Like out of like we're just trying to grab cash for one more. This one actually was good.
I wonder whether you could make the argument that this is the sequel of all of those that you just made. This is the one with the longest legs. Like this is the one that lasted. That still has the most kind of like a hold on people who watch movies.
I had this for my Stephen A. Smith Hottest Take Award. Is this the best number 3 movie? Because I feel like we've argued about this before.
No, Lord of the Rings
and Jedi.
Yeah,
and we have Lethal Weapon 3.
I might
Rocky
prefer.
3.
I might prefer International Mobiari to this.
Godfather 3. There's been some good threes. This might
it's
be
in the conversation.
This might be the 3 with the longest legs.
I think it's really it's a
franchises.
beloved movie, right? That's the thing. Is forget about like qualitatively, like people just fucking love this movie.
Avengers: Infinity War.
That's like number 18.
Yeah,
that's not number 3.
It's a great movie.
Avengers was
it's the 3rd Avengers movie.
Those are like comic book people.
All right, get out of here. But one thing about Back to the Future 2,
not a huge fan of 3. Back to the Future 3.
Not a huge fan of it. I've
Is
only
that the
seen
Wild
it a
West
couple of
one?
times.
Yeah,
The Wild
that
West.
sucked.
It would you say that Back to the Future 2, I don't think it's held up nearly as well as Christmas Vacation.
But it's got the sports book stuff.
But it's got the sports book stuff. It's got the fucking
Hoverboard,
shoes, the
yeah.
hoverboards.
Yeah.
I feel like it has a kind of a special
I
place
love
in pop
to.
culture.
I hope we do that. I like that movie.
I
that
like
movie a
2
lot,
too.
yeah.
I do not acknowledge 3. One more What's Age the Best is just the electrocuted cat electrocuted cat, which they almost cut out, and the test audiences loved it, and they kept it. And it's just the cat going through the
That cat
floor.
has a
It's
tough,
super funny.
tough run in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Starts in a box.
As you know, I was delighted because I hate cats. Some quickies. Kid Cudi Pursuit of Happiness award for best needle drop. Here Comes Santa Claus as the SWAT team shows up is really
Yeah,
strong.
that's good.
I love Mala Kaliki Maka. That's a
mine.
huge,
Yeah.
huge song in my house growing
Yeah.
up.
That's mine.
What do you got for Great Shot Gordo, Chris?
I enjoy the network homage when they shoot Brian Doyle Murray down at the other end of the conference room table. He's just like, just leave it there. You know?
Yeah. I like the closing credits. It stays on Clark and he's staring up and it's like the end. And it's like, man, this is staying a long time. And then it pans back and Snots is like 1 inch away from his crotch. Staring at him. It's sneaky. You gotta
That
keep
is truly
watching
probably, I bet Gordon Willis loved that shot too.
Gordon was like, that's funny stuff right there. The Mallory Rubin Award for Did This Movie Need a Better Sex Scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna say hell yes.
Yeah.
Beverly D'Angelo is begging for it in the nightgown scene. She's like, let's keep this rolling, guys. Let's go rated R right now.
Guys, what the fuck are we begging for?
She's ready to go.
Oh my God.
She's frisky. She
You know,
got him in the nap.
but
It would
and
be
the-
great if Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo had done the sex scene from Sea of Love. She has him up against the wall, mounting him from behind.
What are you looking for, Sparky? Man.
That's the genius of the movie, though, is that he's constantly being, drawn in by these supermodel women, but his wife is so fucking hot.
beautiful.
Yeah. Butch's Girlfriend Award, weak link of the film. Well, we got to talk about it. Russ's kids went backwards in age. The kids have changed every movie. I think it's like a bit at this point.
It is a
before they're
bit.
making it, but
So there's I was going to save this for my Stephen A. Smith hot take, which is really more of a theory than a take.
yeah.
But Sean and I love this horror movie called Speak No Evil. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Is there a chance that the Griswolds are like the Speak No Evil couple who are just replacing their children every 4 years?
Oh my God.
And renaming them
Damn.
Audrey.
That's dark.
That's fucked up.
That's
That's
You
why
think
I
they're
like the
child
Stephen A. Smith.
That's dark.
That's what the movie's
That's really good.
That'd be an amazing reveal.
It's like
That's
this
really
is the
good.
new Audrey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny.
We found her at Mount Rushmore.
And he's like, Audrey, you look different.
All
You
right,
look like that girl from Cape Fear.
so I'm gonna rank the kids. I think we'll all probably have the same rankings, right?
I wasn't prepared for this, but go ahead. Yeah.
I actually like Juliette Lewis as Audrey the most out of the three.
She's the
Audreys.
best.
For sure.
Audrey,
I
for
agree.
sure.
And I'd have Dana Barron second, who went
Mhm.
on to date Brandon Walsh and 90210, and then the one from
Dana
Euro
Hall.
like Vacation third. Anthony
Hill.
Michael Hall is
He's the best
obviously
Russ.
our best Russ.
Yeah.
Number one.
I would have the Christmas one second. though.
Yeah,
Galecki.
Galecki's good.
Yeah, Galecki.
And then
looks
Jason
like a
Lively
young-
is just
young
last.
Tucker
Just
Carlson
keep
now.
adding Rusties. I still have them
And
last.
then Ethan Embry is third, you'd have?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what actress plays the daughter in Vegas.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like looking it up.
Fair enough.
What's aged the worst other than Randy Quaid in real life? In 2003, NBC aired a spinoff called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, which featured Cousin Eddie's family on a Christmas vacation in the South Pacific. Randy Quaid, Miriam Flynn, so that's the couple, plus Dana Barron, who's the original Audrey, reprised their roles.
The original Audrey?
The original Audrey
As
came back.
Audrey? Oh, yeah.
And Ed Asner and Fred Willard were somehow in it. I either saw this and blocked it out of my mind or never knew about it, but this movie exists.
Wait, so
Christmas
there's no
Vacation
Clark,
2.
though.
There's no Clark. It's a Cousin Eddie movie.
But Audrey would be like, I guess I'll go on this South Pacific
Maybe they
cruise.
run into her on the cruise ship.
Okay.
Mm.
Just passing along. Any other What Stage the Worst fan?
I was going to ask the question. I'm fascinated with things that have culturally expired. Has It's a Wonderful Life as the defining Christmas movie every single year, has that culturally expired?
This is a great question.
When I
this,
was
this is
The
the
answer
Private
is-
Benjamin question.
when
The
I was
answer is yes.
when I was a kid, like they would run it. By the way, when we were talking about Christmas movies, I forgot about A Christmas Story. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Black Christmas, same director as A Christmas Story.
yeah, but like when I was a kid, there was like a whole block of It's a Wonderful Life over and over and
Yeah.
over, and you could not have Christmas without it.
It's the grandma movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. It just seems like it kind of fell out of the cultural
Set it aside as a Christmas movie. It's literally one of the 50 greatest movies ever made. It is. I encourage you to revisit it. It is amazing. It is touching, scary, weird. Like, it is not this like hackneyed cliche, sentimental, gloppy thing. Like, the 1 second of the movie that we see in Christmas Vacation is what everyone thinks it is. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
And it feels very modern because of the idea of it. But setting all that aside, it was like a major post-war movie in America. It's 1946. And it's America looking for a more hopeful future. We're really far from that now. You know, we're 80 years on from that movie. So it definitely doesn't have, I don't think it sits in the same cultural space that it did when we were kids.
I also think it's a consequence of, I have this very distinct memory of whenever I would go home from college or like when I was living in New York. And even back then, it was still kind of like, we only have like 10 channels, 15 channels.
Yeah.
And if they're showing It's a Wonderful Life, that's just what you were watching. You know, it was, if they're showing 10 Commandments, it's just what's on TV for the next 2 days. And now you're like, I'm going to go watch Top Boy. You know, I'm gonna go watch Yellowstone in my room. Call me when dinner's ready, kind of thing. Like,
Special Ops
I think
Lioness.
it's like a consequence of like there's just too much for people to choose from, so they're not like going back to the same movies on the same day together.
Did you ever see Jimmy Stewart do the poem about his dog on the Tonight Show?
No, I
I'm
haven't.
going to send it to you.
Okay.
It's one of the greatest moments in the history of network television. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
don't.
I have no idea.
All right. Just go look that up on YouTube. Is Castaway a Christmas movie? I mean, under the fucking Die Hard definition, I would say it is. He goes away in the holidays. He says, I'll be back. They
In the
exchange
spirit
presents.
of Christmas, sure it is, Bill. Yeah.
We're just never going to agree on this.
I feel like Elf has replaced It's a Wonderful Life. I
Yeah.
feel like Elf
Possible.
is the movie
Yeah.
for the current under 40 generation.
We're gonna do Elf at some
Okay.
point. I didn't want to do 2 Christmas movies in a row.
Elf is great.
But Elf, we'll do Elf at some point. Elf's got the Peter Dinklage, Dion Waiters all time. Just out of control.
Rename the award.
Was there a better title for this movie?
Oh wait, can I do one more? What's Age the Worst?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Clark's credit score. I feel like every movie he's like really over leveraged,
Yeah.
and he's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got traveler's checks. Don't worry about it. Like I'm way like as long as this thing happens, we'll be able to afford this lavish trip that we're on right now.
Yeah.
And this one is really funny with the like you would not put an above ground pool in hoping that you got a bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else? These movies, they really get into workplace violence a lot. He's doing 2 different people kidnapped, like kidnapping bosses. It's really it's a eat the rich commentary that's going on in the National Lampoon situation.
The Ref, another Christmas movie
The
featuring a
Ref.
kidnapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Featuring a kidnapping.
That movie's bad.
Kevin Spacey, where you at?
Damn. Like The Ref.
Was there a better title for this movie? Would you just go Christmas Vacation, or do you like having the National Lampoon?
I like having it.
National
Okay.
Lampoon.
I also, most people probably just refer to it as Christmas Vacation.
That's what we do. Best quote. I like when he says, Christmas is about resolving differences and seeing through the problems of petty life. I think that's pretty much true. Clark says that near the beginning. What do you have? Anybody else have a hottest take?
I disturbed you with mine.
I had my, is this in the running for best number 3 sequel?
Okay.
It's certainly one of the most rewatchable. You have any takes or not?
Not really.
I don't know if it's a take. I was hinting at it, but I feel like it's the best Chevy Chase dramatic performance.
Oh.
Like, you really believe the crisis of Clark in the movie, where he's like, because of what Chris was saying, he's like over leveraged on a pool in his house, but he's like, we don't have enough money in the bank to get through this. So
The movie, at some point, and maybe I've watched, this is the third time I've watched it this Christmas. We watched it twice when I was in Baton Rouge with my mother and my grandmother. At a certain point, it gets weirdly, oddly touching. Like like there's a scene where after he's talking to his niece, and they're talking about Santa Claus, and he goes, "I can't even afford to be an elf," and you're like, "Fuck, man!" Like, this guy has hinged this big thing for his family. He's out of these dreams. It's like kind of an American thing. It actually kind of gets there as far as that's concerned.
The scene when he gets he thinks he's getting the bonus check, but he gets a lifetime
Jelly of the month.
jelly. That was a little Good Times James Evans-ish, where he thinks something good is about to happen and the whole family's around him. Oh, it's going to happen, Dad. And then he gets kicked in the balls.
We don't do Christmas bonuses here at Spotify. Like, is the Christmas bonus in
what's age the
corporate
worst?
America a thing that people are still like, I don't know what my bonus will be, and it will arrive on December 22nd.
Usually set in a contract.
Yeah.
Well, like I knew guys that had them, but they were all like these weirdo financial dudes.
Yeah, they're all like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy so much cocaine now.
You know what I'm saying?
My bonus was an 8-ball.
Yeah.
Casting what ifs. Chris Columbus was supposed to direct the movie and had a personality clash with Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Oh,
It was not
You don't say.
not undifficult
And
as an actor.
even for as much as we obviously love this movie, it's interesting to read the John Hughes stuff around the time of the film and afterwards, where he's like, "Yeah, this has kind of become just like a Chevy Chase vehicle thing. Like, it's not like what it was in National Lampoon's Vacation, where it's like more about the family and stuff like that."
Well, it worked out for Chris Columbus because John Hughes is like, here's this other script I have. And it became Home Alone, one of the most successful movies of the last 40 years. Here's a good one. This isn't a casting what if, but it's a good casting thing. Ruby Sue, the daughter in this movie who has the scene with him talking about Santa Claus, was in one other movie that we've done on the Rewatchables that came out 2 years earlier. Can you guess the movie?
So 1987.
Yes.
That's not no.
What? Say it, Sierra.
I for sometimes she looks like Newt from Aliens, but I know we haven't done Aliens.
No.
So.
Was she all dirty in this movie?
No.
Okay.
She was the little girl in Fatal Attraction.
Oh wow.
Who Glenn Close took to the amusement park. And his rabbit got boiled.
Who she boiled a rabbit?
So her
She's
two
been
big
through a
roles
lot.
were her rabbit got boiled and she got tortured by Glenn Close, and then she's in this movie getting tortured by Cousin Eddie's sewage
That's
leak.
great.
I will not be
Legendary.
ignored. Crazy.
That's that guy. Brian Doyle Murray's not a that guy. I'm not
Nah,
I
kidding.
think so. He's excellent in this movie.
Nicholas Guest.
Doris Roberts isn't a that guy.
though. No.
Nah.
William
was on
Hickey, we did the
Beverly
last
Hills
time.
Raymond.
He's
Yep.
William Hickey.
Who's the guy that's
Wasn't William Hickey nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah.
Who's the guy that's Clark's
Sam McMurray.
Sam McMurray. I
His-
thought
his-
I have
big
him written
Simpsons
down.
His buddy, his
His-
colleague.
his-
Yeah.
at
His
work.
work colleague.
That's
He's a
gotta
huge
be the
that
guy, right?
He's
Yeah.
a huge that-
Sam McMurray. I didn't know his name until I looked it up for this podcast.
Is he a
I-
voice on The Simpsons?
I don't know. He resembles.
I'm gonna ask you
Prince
guys.
of
I
Skinner.
don't know him from this. There's another movie
Yeah.
that I feel like he's more etched into my mind
And
from.
is he more of a heel in it, like more of a bad guy in another movie? Yeah.
Like, there's another
He's
movie
the voice of Duff Beer
oh.
on The Simpsons.
Look at
where
that.
I feel like he plays the police or something like that. There's another movie that I know him from. It's not this one.
IMDb says we know him from Raising Arizona.
That's it.
LA
Raising
Story.
Arizona.
That's it. That's the movie. Yeah, that's the movie I know him from. Yeah.
And JLD's husband, whatever.
Nicholas Guest.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah.
What else has he been in?
I mean, I assume he's related to Christopher Guest.
I'm not sure. I didn't do my Nicholas Guest research for this episode.
Dion Waiters, I mean, Cousin Eddie, just
Oh, I have JLD.
over Cousin
I
Eddie?
think Eddie's in too much of it. Eddie's fucking Klay Thompson in this movie. I think it's JLD.
That's pretty good. What about Nicholas Scorsese as Mary the sales clerk?
So I was trying to do some research around this young lady last
Not
night.
related.
Um,
Not related to Martin.
not related.
On your work computer or
Not
on personal
related.
device?
Yeah.
Incognito mode? Incognito mode Fennessey?
No verification on any of those questions.
VPN?
The one image I could find of her not from this movie was a series of paparazzi photos at a movie premiere.
Mm.
And she is on the arm of a young Sean Penn.
Oh, there
And
you
it
go.
says Sean Penn with
Sean Penn
date
just crushing it.
Nicolette Scorsese.
Did you watch the Sean Penn on Bernthal's pod video?
course
that
I
sent
did.
You? Oh my god!
Incredible stuff. I really like John Randolph in this movie, Chevy's dad.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's
know,
good.
I didn't know anything about him. I'd seen him before. I didn't know if he was that guy or Dion Waiters or whatever, but he's got a really interesting story.
Yeah.
He was a blacklisted actor who
Oh,
had
wow.
a career in the 50s, and then he and his wife refused to testify during House Un-American Activities, didn't work for 15 years. And then in 1966, John Frankenheimer grabs him and he's like, he was somebody who was trying to resuscitate the careers of people after that, put him in this movie called Seconds, and then he works as a character actor for like 30 more years.
Wow.
That's a movie in and of itself. It's a really interesting story.
So JLD, we're going for Cousin
That's
Eddie.
my vote.
Or Dion Waiters. Recasting Couch 2023 version. Who would you have as Clark?
This was so hard. Like when I tell you that I couldn't really picture somebody,
Would you do Will Ferrell? Just call it a day?
you could, but I kind of
think
think
he's too old.
He's too old and he's oddly too goofy.
Can I go sideways with a brain breaker?
Mm.
Could Chappelle do it?
I think he might be too old.
Well, he's only 50.
What does Dave Chappelle
So around the same age.
Is Clark 50?
Speech while
He's
cutting the
50.
turkey.
Chevy Chase. I looked this up. Chevy Chase born 1943. He's around.
That's
50.
what I was thinking. I always
So
thought
he's
Chappelle as an actor
45.
was like,
45.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
like
not
46.
quite.
That's
46.
I
there's
just
a big
wanted
difference,
more
you know?
Chappelle
Yeah.
acting.
You know,
I feel like he could have been
what's the
in
last
a
thing he
movie
did?
like
Star
that.
Wars Born?
I don't.
He doesn't
I
do
don't feel
anything.
close.
That's what I'm
That's a
saying.
Scary.
That's what I'm
thing to
saying.
say. Yeah.
Chappelle
No, he's
just smoking a cig, like putting Christmas lights on. I don't know.
I like it.
Will Ferrell's 56 and Chappelle is 50. Like you, so who's an actor who's? I mean, the person who I think is actually trying to have Chevy's career in a weird way is Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh,
that works.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
He-
that's the comic tone.
I mean,
He's a
he can
touch
do
too
that
good looking,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
that works. He doesn't have the everyman
do a
quality that
beard.
you would
No.
that you would
He's too
expect from
jacked.
Clark.
Deadpool is
Yeah.
essentially like Fletch with a suit on.
Exactly.
John Hamm now.
I think he's a
Well-
little too old too.
Yeah,
Ben Affleck.
too old.
I guess he's too old.
That's the thing is who is
Christmas Vacation presented by Mint Mobile.
that's the thing. It's like who's in the age range right now is like Ryan Gosling, you know?
What's that? Chris Evans age range, right?
Yeah.
Oh, have you
exactly.
guys seen American Fiction?
Yes.
Sterling K. Brown.
He'd be
Oh,
great.
great call.
Like Sterling,
great.
He's too old too. He's in his 50s.
I know, but it's the whole black thing. So like, like he could be anywhere from 35.
He's 47.
Yeah, right. So Sterling, to me, Cord, I love you. I love Jeffrey. I love Tracy. All my peeps. The single best thing about American Fiction, to me, he's hysterical in the movie.
Sean and I were talking about the other day. Like most people would have had him in the lead role and Jeffrey Wright in the other role.
Flipped it around.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but the move was to do what
Jeffrey
what
killed
Cord
it.
did.
But Sterling, he's so funny in the movie.
There's a
man.
cutaway to him on having a phone call with his brother in the movie that is super super funny when he's in Arizona. Yeah.
Half-assed internet research. The old Dodge pickup that tailgated Clark in the beginning was also used in Overboard and They Live.
I love this. The stories that Dodge pickup could tell.
Wow. Chevy Chase, when he flips out and starts punching the decorations in the front lawn, he actually broke his pinky finger when he punched Santa Claus, which is why he started kicking stuff because he was mad he got hurt.
The old did
So when you watch that again,
Oh.
he punches Santa Claus, breaks his pinky, and he's like, and just starts kicking stuff. And it might be real and not totally in the script.
That's the Jaden McDaniels right there.
Yeah. Chris mentioned his cousin Eddie's shoes are the same ones that he gave Clark as a gift in the original Vacation. They do a little callback. And then the soundtrack, there's some good stuff with it. The Holiday Road, for some reason, is not included. Maybe they didn't want to pay for it. But the opening song has had a whole history in High School Musical. It's just a bunch of the stuff. And
Mavis
they-
Staples, right?
Yeah, and there
Yeah.
was a bootleg soundtrack that came out that wasn't official that exists, and there's like 10,000 copies of it, and people have it. And
Really?
it's the real thing.
There's a
yeah.
great Ray Charles Christmas song in this
Yeah.
movie. And then the score is by Angelo Badalamenti, which is
Wow.
the weirdest thing ever because his whole career is basically David Lynch movies.
Yeah,
You know, he did Twin Peaks, he did Blue Velvet, and Christmas Vacation. It's a very, very unusual pick for the composer.
and then our girl Beverly D'Angelo improvised grabbing Chevy Chase's crotch when the SWAT team held up the house. Telling you, man, she was upset.
Yeah.
She got like in shape. She was like, "Am I gonna at least get a shower scene?" They're like, "No, we're going PG this time." Beverly.
Yeah, they changed the whole thing. They didn't come back to it. And then after this, she has maybe like 5 or 6 years of being a sexy Hollywood actress, and then it kind of just like dissipates.
Well, she jumps right from this movie to a classic that has not been on the rewatchables yet, Pacific Heights.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tenant from Hell.
When?
I'm putting that on the calendar. I watched Flight again, by the way. Flight's now like Flight's hanging
It's
over.
circling the runway now.
Yeah.
upside down.
Doing it,
Upside
It's-
down.
It's inverted.
Doing a 360.
upside down.
Apex Mountain. Nobody in the cast. Being trapped in the attic. Does it ever work better in a movie? Everybody's
Well,
worst fear, right? Oh shit,
okay,
I'm trapped in
okay.
the
That's
attic.
also
and
in
they
Black
close the thing.
Christmas. That's where some of the craziest shit happens is in the
Yeah.
attic. Yeah.
The Jelly of the Month Club. I don't think it's ever been better.
Okay.
Apex Mountain for the Jelly of the Month Club.
Christmas lights. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I have
Christmas
Christmas
lights
lights.
for sure.
35 years of Christmas
Can we
lights.
just? My thinking is taking me here. There's been a lot of accomplishments in Chicago. 89-90 Christmas in Chicago, has it ever been better?
Yep. MJ crushing.
Suburban Chicago.
Yep.
How are the Hawks doing?
Yep.
I'm not a big
Hockey guy.
I don't think the Hawks are doing great. What else is going on?
Well, Kevin McAllister's stuck at home alone, and Clark Griswold's got the fucking lights up.
It's the
pretty
Christmas town.
Yeah, we're on
America.
the fumes of the '85 Bears. You know, the
we're
last
still
run of
talking
Walter
the
Payton.
Refrigerator Perry.
It's pretty good.
Obviously, Home Alone is right around the corner.
I think for Chicago, you can make a case. I think we litigated this before, that 85, 86 was the peak.
Ryan
The
Sandberg
85 Bears.
his peak.
85 Bears, they get
WGN.
Jordan, Ferris Bueller, all the Hughes movies are adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good argument.
Septic tanks.
Septic tanks
Mountain?
getting emptied in the street,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's what I
Christmas-
learned about them. They know it
But
was.
it's the
What are you
top
talking
of
about?
Christmas movies. For me, it is. But everybody's answer.
You know what's
is
crazy
different.
is, as we've been sitting here naming Christmas movies, now there's more competition for the top spot than I thought that there was, because The Christmas Story is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I didn't even think about it.
Mhm.
But I still would put this one as my number
What
one.
about Tyler Perry puts a star in the tree? Did you see
love
that
that.
one yet?
No, I haven't. Like, look, here's the thing. And Bill, I want you to be careful. Because all right.
I'm just making title jokes.
All right. Maxine's boy. No. But no, it's my favorite Christmas movie.
It would be
of all
really
time.
a good category. Would be like how could this be a Tyler Perry movie?
We should have that.
But it's
Tyler Perry's Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
it's a good category, because like all of his movies, they almost get there to a point to where you're like, oh shit, and then it's like, it's Tyler Perry. He knows what he's doing.
But
Yeah.
like Basic Instinct could be like Tyler Perry's "I fucked a serial killer."
But here's the thing about the movie though. Here's the thing. The question is, when you do the Tyler Perry part of Basic. By the way, Tyler Perry, tremendous success. I gotta say
Do
that.
you think he's listening?
Okay. Well, yeah.
He's like
I don't-
Taylor
I'm not-
Swift, like,
I'm not
the
trying
band's
to.
afraid to
He's
say it.
literally
Oh,
doing the Scrooge McDuck into the gold coins thing right now.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
I love Tyler. Here's the thing. Whenever you think about making a movie into a Tyler Perry movie, you have to think about where Medea fits in.
Yeah.
So the question is, if you do Tyler Perry's Basic Instinct, where do you put Medea into that movie?
I have a lot of ideas.
She's in the interrogation
Yeah.
chair,
Oh
uncrossing her
my
legs.
God, bro. So
Medea
Medea
No,
lives in the
Medea
police
should be
station.
the woman that
She's
she's
Wayne Knight.
dancing with in the nightclub.
She's Roxy?
That's right. She's Roxy.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Let's
Gabrielle
talk-
Union's your
Medea,
lead.
let's have a little talk, man to man. What does Douglas say in the bathroom?
Medea pulls out the
I
22.
just watched it. Douglas is naked for 48 seconds
Yeah.
for reasons that remain unclear. He's just like, I'm going to walk around with my ass out.
Like that movie to me was that was my awakening right there.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah, my mom was talking about it. She went and saw it, and she was saying all of this stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
that didn't really happen.
Medea is Gene Triplehorn.
Gene Triplehorn is throwing heat in that fucking movie, guys.
The movie's amazing.
Maybe
We
we have
did
to
a Rewatchables.
Gene Triplehorn is
Although
throwing heat.
It could be a good live
Mal
one.
kind of closed it down. Like I can't imagine ever
agree.
like topping what Mal did on
It's
that
kind of
pod.
like Ryan on the Town. Like it's like that one's on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, we're never doing the town again.
Yeah.
I just sent Russillo and Chris. There was a picture of Blake Lively at Taylor Swift's birthday party. and I sent them the picture with the text. I got Shine a babysitter. I'm going out for Taylor's birthday.
Tyler Taylor gets sick bees tickets.
She's got sick Chiefs tickets. Pick nits. Would they really just all go to breakfast without Clark? What happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Clark's not going?
When they leave him in the attic.
Yeah, they leave him in
Yeah.
the attic. He's in his pajamas. Everybody else is dressed.
Hughes rips himself off like 1 year later with Home Alone. Like, you really leaving the house without your kid?
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's where I get the idea. There's a full moon from December 18th to December 24th. Just going to point that out.
Mm.
Usually that's not how full moons go.
There are
Right.
also no mountains in Illinois.
Great point.
Wow.
Is there anywhere to even go
Where they,
downhill?
where they go twice
Right.
to the mountains.
They shot in Colorado.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any other pick nits?
Oh, obviously the
tree.
fucking the tree.
The tree
How you
is
gonna
bizarre.
uproot a goddamn tree out of the frozen ground?
I got
in the
another
dead of
one,
winter?
too, that related to trees. The second tree, the squirrel. The squirrel's not jumping out when you're bringing the tree in the house.
Yeah,
Squirrels
sure.
are the jumpiest creatures of all time.
True.
What was that squirrel sleeping in
Getting
there?
away.
That's not happening.
I mean, we could pick. It's a comedy, but you could pick nits like you couldn't slide down that fast and go that far and end up at a Walmart.
That's
But I'm not going to
hysterical.
do that.
Yeah.
Sequel, prequel, prestige TV, all black cast or untouchable.
I think we've broken that down like every which way you could.
Yeah, Medea's Christmas bonus. Yeah.
Love it.
Is
Blair Underwood as Clark.
this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Catherine Hahn, Steve Buscemi, Sam Jackson, J.T. Walsh, Byron Mayo, or Philip Baker Hall?
I was looking for some place to put Byron here, but the SWAT team busting in at the end is just pure Wayne Jenkins. Goddamn, Clark! I didn't know I was with Super Kidnapper. You're like Paul Dano in the yet-to-be-released Denis Villeneuve movie Prisoners. And what's with all these senior citizens hanging out in your living room? You got the fucking cast of Cocoon in here. And motherfucking Diane Ladd. You better let your boss go or you're going away a long fucking time, big boy.
It's now just about the volume, the intensity. It's like the heat wave on my face.
Wait till Wayne Jenkins checks in on Ted Leonisa's moving the Wizards to fucking Virginia.
House says that's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he'd be more concerned with the Ravens, but
Just
a
one
DMV
Oscar.
guy.
Who gets it?
Chevs.
Who?
Chevy.
You want to go Randy Quaid supporting?
Who won supporting actor this year?
In
the
so that'd be
Oscars. Like, who did
1989?
Who do you have to beat?
Isn't that Driving Miss Daisy here?
Oh, whatever could beat that, please let it win. Fuck that
Okay.
movie.
They always do this when you look up the 1989
You always gotta
Oscars
look
and
the
then it
year
shows
later.
the wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's like
At
1990.
some point in my life, I'm going to figure that out. All
This is
right.
going to be sick. Yeah, it's Denzel in Glory.
Can you imagine if fucking Randy Quaid from Christmas Vacation beat Denzel
bro,
and Glory, and then
Jesus.
Bill was the only guy who was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, there you go, Eddie!"
Love that guy. He could have got a nomination.
This is a good Oscar
You wanna
year.
read it?
Driving
Cool.
Miss Daisy is awful, but it's Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poets Society, Field of Dreams, My Left Foot for Best Picture. And then you've also got it's Crimes and Misdemeanors that year. It's Do the Right Thing, obviously.
Sex, Lies, and
Danny
Videotape.
Aiello is
Honestly,
nominated
I-
Sex Lies, yeah.
Randy Quaid in Vacation is just as good as Dan Aykroyd in Driving Miss Daisy.
I was going to
I
say
agree.
Marlon
Yeah,
Brando
agree.
in a dry white
better.
season. When was the last conversation
I have
about
never
that movie?
seen that movie.
Tyler Perry's a dry white
Tyler
season.
Perry's
A Dry White Season is good.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first I've ever actually heard of it. I've never seen it before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Criterion Collection, check it out.
This was the year that Michelle Pfeiffer did not win for The Fabulous Baker Boys, which is a top 10 Oscar crime.
To be honest with you,
Terrible.
Michelle Pfeiffer, maybe not, but that portrayal, all-time minted Hall of Fame white girl. Love it. On top of the piano.
She should have won the
Fabulous Baker
Oscar.
Boy.
Probably unanswerable questions. Why didn't we have more Griswold movies?
Chevy?
Especially as Chevy's career started to drop in the 90s. I feel like they could have pumped one out like every 3 years. We could have had an Easter
Griswold,
movie. We could have done
4th of
Thanksgiving.
July.
Yeah.
Griswold, yeah.
Feels like they just could have kept this going.
I mean, people don't like working with him. He's not a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's really not a nice
Sorry,
guy.
Chevy.
He's a comic genius.
He was, and you know what? It's interesting with his career because as long as he was, it's like anything else. They put up with the asshole, and sorry to say it like that, but that's the word. They put up with the asshole for as long as the asshole is hot, and then the first opportunity they get to not do it anymore, they bail.
That's what happened to him.
He would
Yeah.
keep getting
Are
like,
you signaling
oh,
Chris right now?
I'm not part of Van's coup.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did Todd and Margot stay married after this holiday week?
It's a great
Divorced? They don't have kids. They don't have pets.
She seems really fed up with him by the end of
Yeah,
this.
I think it's over.
And I'll be honest with you, Todd didn't really do nothing.
Nah,
Like
Todd sucked. Go over to the house and yell at him.
But I mean, what for what? For
He's got
having
to
his
stand up for his house.
I know, stand up for
multiple
his house.
things broken.
I think that it's underrated how fucked up it is when Chevy's like, bend over and I'll show you.
That's
I'm
the
talking to
one.
your wife and I'm wearing a ski mask or a hockey mask
Yeah.
and waving a chainsaw on
The guy's
you.
got a chainsaw in his fucking
The
hand.
fucking cops are getting called.
Yeah.
Any other unanswerables? We did everything, right?
Yeah.
All right. Best double feature choice has got to be The First Vacation. I would pair these together, and that's a fun 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Or Home Alone.
Or Home Alone.
Yeah.
Or Home Alone.
I like Four Christmases just because tonally it's pretty similar to this, or it's in the same ballpark.
The Indian Red Zawatney Award for What Happened the Next Day. Did Clark ever get the pool? They
Yeah.
go under
Yeah.
construction. Probably happens, right?
20% on top of that bonus.
Well,
It's got enough
the
money.
better question is like when Brian Doyle Murray gets back and talks to his CFO about bringing the bonuses back, and he's just like, can't do that. And he's like, all right.
He's like, here's what happened. They kidnapped me, but I realized I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that little decision is going to cost him a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of people
Yeah.
working for him.
Yeah.
What piece of memorabilia would you want from this movie, Van?
I want the fucked up sled. With
Oh,
with
the silicone sled.
Yeah, I want the silicone sled with that's iconic for me.
I was thinking Bear's hat,
Bear's hat's great.
just because he wears it for the first half of the movie. But the sled's a good one. What do you got?
I like Clark's Tasmanian Devil coffee mug in the office.
Oh,
And then he's got the Wally World mug
He
that he
does.
has around the
He does.
house.
Also, Blackhawks jersey is pretty good. The old school
Yeah.
Blackhawks jersey he's wearing.
Coach Finstock Award for Best Life Lesson. Nobody has an easy holiday season.
I'm about to have a 3-person Christmas this year. Me, my wife, and my daughter.
Those are the best.
And I think the lesson of this is don't invite people over for Christmas.
Why do you think I live in LA?
Make them travel.
Got away from all my family. They have to come see me.
You want to be a
great.
part of this?
You're like,
come
Yeah.
over
like
here.
Michael Corleone in Tahoe.
I'm here. Yeah.
It's a large body of water. You gotta. traverse.
Mine is if a dog starts humping your leg, just
Let him
finish.
finish. Let him finish. That's
Yeah.
fair. Who won the movie?
Chevy.
Agreed.
Chevy across the board.
Yeah.
We don't have Craig today because he's not here, so we can't get his take.
I'm sure he enjoyed it.
But we are. I wonder if we could just have Craig dub himself in at the end.
Yeah,
He
probably.
didn't die. Like
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I was excited for his take because he didn't really like the
Tyler
first
Perry's
vacation.
Craig
We were
Horlbeck's
upset.
funeral. Yeah.
Medea's doing the eulogy.
Good to see you guys. Happy holidays.
see you guys,
Happy
man.
holidays.